All right, so the project that we're going to be working on today is the Patchwork Tree Mini Quilt, and it is from Sweetwater, which is a fabric designer before Moda Fabrics. And so the first thing that you're going to be doing is we are going to be making, let me pull my thing up here just a hair. You can see we're going to be making our little quilt that we're going to be putting our little patchwork tree on. And so what this measurement is, it is 13 inches wide by 14 inches long. Okay. And so in the instructions, it says cut the background fabric 13 by 14 and cut the batting and backing slightly larger than the background. And as you can see, I have already done that. The reason that you want to do that is because when you are quilting, you need to have the backing and the batting a little bit bigger than the top because it does draw up. So we want to make sure that we do that. Then it tells us right here, it says with wrong sides together, layer the back, batting, and background fabric. And then quilt a crosshatch design with stitching 1 inch apart or quilting a design of your choice. So what we've done here, what I've done is I've layered it just like it said. So your backing fabric is going to be right side down. Then you're going to put your batting. And then last but not least is your background for your little tree. Then it tells us that we are going to grid quilt 1 inch apart. So one of the ways that you can grid quilt is you can actually take your ruler, and I don't know if I can get high enough for you to see what I'm doing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my ruler up here at the top, right in the corner. And I'm going to come down here to this corner and I'm going to line up my ruler there. So it's right at the top in the corner and right down here at the bottom in the corner. And then I'm just going to take my marker, and as you can see, I've drawn a line diagonally on my background. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to draw the other one going in the other direction as well. All right, so there you can see I've got my 2 diagonal lines. And I better put this one back up here a little bit better because I'm having trouble seeing it. When you start sewing, sometimes it's, there we go. Now I can see, very good. All right, so there's 2 ways that you can do grid quilting. If we needed to, we could go, and remember they said 1 inch apart. So once I've drawn my diagonal lines, then I would take my ruler and I would line it up right on top of the line I just drew. And I could go and I could draw all the way across in all directions here. And that would give me a really lovely grid that all I have to do is then just stitch actually on the line here. The other thing that you can do is I would highly advise using your walking foot. So I have my walking foot here. This is, I sew on a Bernina. So this is my walking foot. And pretty much all sewing machine companies give you this little bar that actually goes onto either your walking foot or just a regular foot. So for Bernina, this is what I have to do. This one, I put this on here, and there's a little hole here in my walking foot, and I'm going to slide my bar. See there, I just slid it in there. See how it slides back and forth. And then what I need to do is I'm going to go to my sewing machine and I'm going to put this foot on there. And then I'm going to measure from the center needle position 1 inch out. So give me just a second and I will show you how I'm going to do that. All right, so as you can see, I have my walking foot put on. And my needle, can you see that? It's right there, is in the center needle position. So what I'm going to do is I am going to line my ruler up with my needle, and oh, I did pretty good. And so my bar should be right even with the edge of my guide there. Do you see how I'm right there at the edge of that guide? So I know that my grid is going to wind up being 1 inch, which is what I wanted. But the nice thing about using one of these is the fact that you are able to make it whatever size you need it to be. Because when that is loosened, let me see if I can loosen it a little bit. See, then you can slide this back and forth wherever you need it to be so that you have your guide right where you want it. All right. And then once you get it there, then you just tighten down the screw that's going to hold it in place. So again, let me check one more time. I think I need to push that in just a hair. Whoops, not that much. There we go. And we're going to tighten that up. And now, let me show you how we're going to use this. All right, so my first stitching line is going to be right on top of the line that I just drew. All right, so here we go. We're going to stitch right on top of that. And the nice thing about working with a walking foot is that it does not push your fabric or your batting ahead of the needle. And I like that. Okay, so we're here at the end. Cut our threads. I'm laughing because now I have, when I turn this around. So now what you're going to do is you would actually line that bar right up with the stitching that you just did on your machine. Do you see how that's lined up? And now, instead of watching where my needle is, I'm going to watch and make sure that the bar stays right on top of my stitching. And that is how we would actually grid quilt this. So see, as you can see, I've got a really nice straight line because I use my stitching to line my bar up with. And I like using these because then I don't have to mark all over my quilt. However, if you need to, remember that you mark that next line and you would go ahead and you would mark 1 inch all the way across your quilt, and then you would go back and grid quilt those. So I'm going to get this quilted real quick, and then we're going to start putting our little patchwork tree together. Okay, as you can see, I have got our background quilted in a crosshatch, and now we are ready to put our patchwork tree together.